I want to start this video with a big caveat. I am by no means an expert. Heck, I'm really not even that great of a singer yet. But I do feel like I've come a long way. This is what I sounded like when I started. Better to feel pain, nothing at all. And as bad as this is, it's important to note something. These are the recordings I kept. These were the very best of many, many recordings. I know, right? And here are a couple examples of where I am now, a little over a year later. 'Cause my baby's sweet as can be, gives me toothaches just for kissing me. I hear the voice of rage and ruin. Well, don't go round tonight. Not amazing by any means, but this sounds a hell of a lot better than this. Standing on your porch, screaming out. I wanted to sing for as long as I can remember. But like most people, I resigned myself to simply not being born with the necessary innate talent needed to even try. I spent a lot of time looking at videos and blogs to see if there was any hope that a hopelessly bad singer could actually learn to sing. What's worse is that most of the before and after progress videos on YouTube, their before shot is actually really good, regardless of how much they pretend to cringe when listening to it. So for someone like me, who is actually really terrible, it was unrelatable. But I feel like there's a lot more of us than them, so I wanted to share some things I've learned along my way from being an actual horrible singer to being a little less so. So here are 7 things that I've learned in the past year. Number 1, just about anyone can learn to sing. If you can learn an instrument, you can learn to sing. There is a very common misconception that people are either born with a good voice or they aren't, which is total rubbish. It's about how to use your voice. If you were to be magically imported into some great singer's body, like Mariah Carey or Adele or someone, you still wouldn't be able to sing if you didn't already know how. It would be no different than being handed Jimi Hendrix's guitar if you didn't know how to play. It's not the guitar, it's the player. And it's not the lungs or the voice box or the larynx or whatever. It's the person using it. The voice is just that. It's an instrument, and you have to learn how to use it. Any of those characteristics that people assume are differences in voice are really just differences in learning how to use your voice. You have a great singing voice. Yes, you. You just need to learn how to use it. Number 2. Friends and family probably won't be that supportive. Building on number 1, there is a very common and very strong misconception that singing is either something you're born with or you aren't. And people steadfastly believe this. So they treat learning to sing or someone attempting to sing very differently than any other skill. If you want to learn piano and don't know the first thing, most people won't bat an eye. They'll just accept that you will take lessons, and if you work at it, you're going to get better. And if you're taking lessons and not that great, they'll just pass it off as part of the learning process. That is absolutely not the case with singing. Since people don't believe it's a learned skill, if you can't sing or aren't any good at any part in your journey, they'll write you off as simply not having won this mysterious lottery that makes some people singers and others not. And therefore, it's not worth pursuing further. And because of this, they're going to try to convince you to stop. In their mind, you simply weren't born a certain way, and pursuing this is a waste of time. When I started, I heard it all, right? Don't quit your day job. Singing isn't for everyone. You play the guitar nicely. Why don't you just stick with that, right? I'm not being mean. I can't sing either. These are all things that I heard from people close to me. And they were not trying to be malicious at all. They were simply trying to save me from spending time and effort on something that they felt was a fool's errand. Because they didn't understand point number 1. Think about it for a minute. It is socially acceptable to tell someone they can't sing, and that they shouldn't even try to learn. Now try to think of anything else where that's okay. Number 3, the same notes can sound really, really different. This is a big one, and it's important to understand when selecting what songs to learn at the beginning. Depending on how it is sung, the same note can sound incredibly different. Check this out. This is the exact same note sung here by Vance Joy. They're both A5s. However, most beginner singers would never try to sing this. But go to any karaoke bar and I guarantee you will hear guys give U2 a shot. And the thing is that the A5 that is sung by Bono is actually way harder than the one sung by Vance Joy because he's singing that A5 in chest voice. Why am I talking about this? Because when you're beginning, it's really important to understand which songs are in your comfortable range. If you take the average guy and they give a song by U2 or Journey a shot, it's like going from never running to trying to run a marathon on day one. You're going to fail, and most likely you're going to be really put off. So it's important to understand where your vocal range is, where you're comfortable, and start there. Then slowly work your way up. Number 4, your vocal range is higher than you think. This may sound counter to what I just said, but just like most people can work their way up to a marathon, most people can work their way up in range over time. I feel like it's a rite of passage that every guy learning to sing, and I can only speak for guys here because, well, that's been my experience, they think that they're a baritone. Go to any forum group or blog or anything, and you're going to see tons of posts in that regard. I thought the same thing. I firmly believed I couldn't sing any higher than a C4 when I started, and now I'm holding C-sharp 5s. It's over an octave higher. It just takes time. But you're going to get there. Number 5, you won't see changes day to day. This was probably the hardest part for me. You're going to spend hours, days, weeks, months, and even years, and you'll never feel any different from day to day. Changes from a day of practice are imperceivable, and this can lead to giving up. I've had months where I just didn't make any progress. The key is to trust the process. Put in the work, put your head down, and just grind. At some point, you'll compare yourself to a year before and your mind will be blown. You just have to stick to it. Number 6, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. You're going to have to listen to your own voice a lot in order to improve, and you're not going to like it. Listening to your own voice is like looking at your own butthole. It is not pleasant. But over time, you'll get used to it, and the more you listen, the more you'll be able to make positive changes. Just to clarify, I'm talking about listening to your own voice here. Put the mirror down. You can look later if you're really curious. Number 7, breath support. You hear so many people talking about breath support, and if you're like me, it's going to sound really ambiguous, especially at first. I remember when I started, I was like, all right, can we skip over all this technique crap and just teach me how to sing? But the reality is, breath support is incredibly important. So do those breathing drills, breathe from your diaphragm, and keep loose. Okay, that's all I could think of for now. For all you other folks learning to sing, drop me a comment on something that you've learned in this journey so far. And also, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to follow along with this voyage. Thanks for watching.